Greetings, everyone, and welcome. February the 23rd. Today is a day that I believe will go down in history as a game changer in this war. Today, President Zelenskyy, in a conference, speaking directly to journalists from all around the world, and he sets the record straight. As you can see in the thumbnail, the game is over. This is a facts only zone, and the lies stop here. The lies that have been spewing out of the mouth of Donald Trump and the United States administration there with the other clowns in the circus like Elon Musk. Additionally, the lies that continually spew out of the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin and his team of clowns as well. The bottom line is today, Zelenskyy has had enough and he sets the record straight. Now, I can tell you this is happening this morning. It is only late morning here in the Eastern Standard Time. It is on a Sunday. It's not during the regular work week. It is going to be so interesting to see how Donald Trump, how the United States, and how Russia responds to this. Zelenskyy setting it straight. And today, over the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, I'm going to tell you, already got it translated. I've got it on the screen for you. Everything that Zelenskyy said. It's time for the lies to stop. Ukraine is fighting for its very existence. Thank you for sharing, commenting, liking, subscribing. Now, guys, let's lay the groundwork first, because over the weekend, these are some of the statements that came out of the White House. The war in Ukraine could end as early as this week, according to the White House. Now, remember, Trump was talking about this February 25th meeting again in Riyadh between the United States and Russia. I can tell you that as of right now, Dmitry Peskov is denying that. We don't have any meetings scheduled for February the 25th. So where is the truth at? The truth is nowhere, but you're getting ready to hear the truth from Vladimir Zelenskyy. Second, Trump is confident in his ability to conclude an agreement with the Russian Federation to end the conflict in Ukraine. National Security Advisor Volts, we will be working around the clock on the deal this weekend. Well, I hope you are working around the clock, because I guarantee you are working right now, because over the last hour, Vladimir Zelenskyy, the duly elected president of Ukraine, has dropped the truth on the United States of America. Finance Minister Besant, who is responsible for the agreement with the Ukrainians on the use of rare earth minerals, is taking part in the discussions. And the White House saying he's going to announce a major economic partnership between the United States and the Ukrainian people and the restoration of Ukraine after a devastating war. So, guys, that lays the groundwork, these key topics for what Zelenskyy responds to. Now, remember Trump talking about 500 billion. It's 500 billion, 350 billion. Ukraine owes, they're going to pay through the nose. Isn't it interesting here? The United States Department of Defense refutes the statements of its own President Trump. America did not allocate as much as 350 billion to Ukraine. We gave them only 183 billion. That's coming out of the Pentagon through Voice of America. About 58 billion of the 183 billion in total aid to Ukraine was spent inside the United States. This money was directed directly to the development of the American defense industry, or by replacing old weapons that were transferred to Kyiv with new ones. Isn't it interesting? America starting to stand up. I mean, the Defense Department that Trump and Musk just want to wipe out, now standing up and say, hold on, some of these things aren't true. So these are the U.S. statements. This is laying the groundwork for where we're going to go. Now, what is Russia's statement? Let me give you Russia's statement over the last 24 hours. A record number of UAVs, Shaheeds, flying. Ukraine was able to destroy 138 out of 267 UAVs, Shaheeds. And I remind you, it is Donald Trump that says Putin wants peace. So you have the U.S. spewing lies, you have the Defense Department trying to correct it, and you have Vladimir Putin waging war. And guys, it's not just Shaheeds, it's missiles, it's S-300 systems, it's ballistics, it's raining down on Kyiv, on Dnipro, on Kherson. Kherson is being demolished nonstop right now. The frontline battles, Pokrovsk, Kharkiv, Kupiansk, the invasion into Kursk region. It is a raging hot war. And, you know, if you really had all these talks going on and we're looking for a way, don't you think you would temper down the amount of Shaheeds you send over Ukrainian airspace? I think you would. Now, it's time to get to Zelensky's responses. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts because the war changes today. Zelensky said today, just now, 13 leaders will arrive in Ukraine tomorrow. Tomorrow, 24 more will join us online for a summit. Tomorrow, he says, could be a turning point. We shall see. These are quotes from Vladimir Zelensky. Additionally, he said, Ukraine, Europe, the USA, and the Russian Federation are the participants in the negotiations from our point of view. This is our negotiating table. The reality is the European Union, Great Britain, these powerful nations, even Japan, Australia, have supplied massive amounts of aid. The Baltic states there in the European Union to Ukraine during this 3 years of war. They're on the borders there with this Russian invasion and this Russian cancer that wants to spread throughout the European Union, divide the East and the West. And as we have heard so many times, a new world order between Putin and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping. Guys, this is the reality. But Ukraine says, Zelensky says, no, 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 no. Negotiations, Ukraine, Europe, US, and Russia. That's how our negotiating table will look. Stop the lies. Additionally, the agreement with the US requires something that is not yet there. He's referring to the minerals deal and these different types of agreements that are trying to be hammered out over this weekend. And those are security guarantees, Zelensky said. I said, he's taking the responsibility. I will not let this document be signed. Then a revision came back and he said in the second format of the agreement, $500 billion appeared. And then it became clear to us that we are talking about a debt that Ukraine must recognize to the United States. That's not what we talked about. Zelensky continues, we are not going to recognize the $500 billion debt, period. He said, I don't recognize 100 billion either. We agreed with then President Joe Biden that this was a grant, and a grant is not a debt. It's interesting that the money, and let's just refer to this 100 billion that Zelensky was talking about, that came through the Biden administration. Now we know Trump's opinion on that he is a senile old grandpa that just destroyed everything. And that's for a different type of political discussion, and you can have your opinion where you want. But when the agreements for support coming to Ukraine through the Biden administration, the United States needs to recognize that and honor that. We don't come in, as Trump is trying to do, as the king of the world and his own type of dictatorship and just change everything in the middle of a horrible war. That's not ethical. That's not honest, and that's not fair. Zelensky saying, I don't recognize the 100 billion either. We agreed with Biden. This is a grant, and a grant is not a debt. He says, this is a fact. I am not going to admit 500 billion. And then he says, whether someone likes it or not. Boom, directly at Donald Trump. I'm telling you guys, you better be watching because there's going to be some fire coming out of Trump anytime. He said Ukraine wants security guarantees. This is a part of the agreement on minerals. He then goes on to break it down more. You extract, we share. You have priority, but stop Putin. He says, okay, you extract and we share. US, you extract, we share, you have priority, but stop Putin. It must include air defense packages. That's the story. It was a comprehensive proposal with a strengthening of the army. And see, that's the point that the United States and Donald Trump is missing because Donald just wants money, but Ukraine wants sovereignty. Ukraine wants security. Ukraine wants what they are fighting for. And all Donald Trump wants is money, money, money. After 500 billion in the deal, it became clear that Ukraine must recognize this debt, Zelensky said. And then he states again, I won't do that. It's not going to happen. Zelensky continues on. Smart here, so smart. He goes, I really believe that Trump will help us in the war. I love it. But peace through force is, first of all, directing force at Russia. Bingo. Not negotiating with your friend with Ukraine sitting on the sideline. not carving up Ukraine the way Europe was carved up in 1938-39. No. Peace through force is, first of all, directing that force at Russia. It seems to me that this is the meaning of the expression peace through force. We are partners. I really want him to be on our side, directly referring to Trump, so that it is not just mediation, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, because it seems to me that this mediation is not enough. Direct quote from President Vladimir Zelensky. Now, what is happening? Even during it was like a Q&A with reporters and press conference, and he's sitting on a stage. He spilled his water. I was watching all the video. He says Yermak is communicating with the American partners right now. Right now. There is no more 500 billion, and we have no interest. We are moving forward. He then asked a really good question. He says, let me ask you a question. When the United States sells or provides aid packages to Israel, Qatar, or Saudi Arabia, does it get 100% of the profit? Great question. I think he's playing business now with Trump. Additionally, Zelensky making a statement in regard to he being called a dictator by Donald Trump. He said, today, 65% of Ukrainians, according to official opinion polls, trust me. 4%, which Trump talks about, is disinformation. Zelensky, of course, referring directly that he gets the wrong information from the Russian talking points. And the final statement I'm going to share with you, and the one that's probably going to ruffle some feathers. Trump is not forever, and we need peace for many years. Zelensky. Ladies and gentlemen, February the 23rd, I believe after these statements coming out today, and we are awaiting upon the American responses, this war is going to change today. This war is going to change tomorrow. I don't know which way it's going to go. I do not know what America is going to do. I do not know what's going to come out of the mouth of Donald Trump or Elon Musk or other European leaders, but I can tell you this. These are the statements that came out of the mouth of Vladimir Zelensky today, doing an enormously fantastic, amazing job leading his war-torn country in their fight for freedom. Kudos to you, President Zelensky. We stand with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline over the next 2 or 3 days. Make sure you've subscribed, liked, commented, share this video with others. This is facts. These are the exact words that came out of Zelensky's mouth today. Going to be interesting to see where we go from here. Have a great day.